Welcome to our continuing series, Questions and Answers for a World in Crisis, from the words of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother. We conclude today the series on fear. From the Mother. You must not fear. Most of your troubles come from fear. In fact, 90% of illnesses are the result of the subconscious fear of the body. In the ordinary consciousness of the body, there is a more or less hidden anxiety about the consequences of the slightest physical disturbance. It can be translated by these words of doubt about the future. And what will happen? It is this anxiety that must be checked. Indeed, this anxiety is a lack of confidence in the Divine's grace, the unmistakable sign that the consecration is not complete and perfect. As a practical means of overcoming this subconscious fear, each time that something of it comes to the surface, the more enlightened part of the being must impress on the body the necessity of an entire trust in the Divine's grace, the certitude that this grace is always working for the best in ourself as well as in all, and the determination to submit entirely and unreservedly to the Divine's will. The body must know and be convinced that its essence is divine, and that if no obstacle is put in the way of the Divine's working, nothing can harm us. This process must be steadily repeated until all recurrence of fear is stopped. And then, even if the illness succeeds in making its appearance, its strength and duration will be considerably diminished until it is definitively conquered. The real disease is fear. Throw the fear away, and the disease will go. My help is with you. As for cancer, the first thing is that you should drive off all fear. If you want to get cured, there are two conditions. First, you must be without fear, absolutely fearless, you understand. And secondly, you must have a complete faith in the divine protection. These two things are essential. You should not allow any fear to come between you and your child. Fear is a pernicious means of education. It invariably gives birth to deceit and lying. The first thing from which you must cure yourself once forever is fear. It is more dangerous than the worst disease. With love and blessings. There is nothing to fear. All is the Lord. There is nothing else than the Lord. The Lord alone exists, and all that tries to frighten us is only a silly and meaningless disguise of the Lord. you must not be afraid. Have full trust in the divine, who is love, light, and life. You can be entirely free from fear only when you have driven out of you all violence. Get rid of violence, and you will no longer have any fear. Fear is hidden consent. When you are afraid of something, it means that you admit its possibility and thus strengthen its hand. It can be said that it is a subconscious consent. Fear can be overcome in many ways. The ways of courage, faith, knowledge are some of them. Fear is slavery. Work is liberty. Courage is victory. It is only fear which hurts, not the spirits. When people who have left their body appear in front of you, you must not fear. It is generally because they are restless and lack peace. Give them a good thought and wish them to be in peace, and it will be over. From Sri Aurobindo. It is a mistake to think that by fearing or being unhappy, you can progress. Fear is always a feeling to be rejected, because what you fear is just the thing that is likely to come to you. Fear attracts the object of fear. Unhappiness weakens the strength and lays one more open to the causes of unhappiness. You should throw away fear as well as anger and go quietly on your way, putting your confidence in the Mother. Ways to remove fear: by bringing down strength and calm into the lower vital region below the navel. Also by will and imposing calm on the system when the fear arises. It can be done in either way or both together. There is no fear in the higher nature. Fear is a creation of the vital plane, an instinct of the ignorance, a sense of danger with a violent vital reaction that replaces and usually prevents or distorts the intelligence of things. It might almost be considered as an invention of the hostile forces. Closeness of the human soul to the divine is the object, and fear sets always a barrier and a distance. Even awe and reverence for the divine power are a sign of distance and division, and they disappear in the intimacy of the union of love. Moreover, fear belongs to the lower nature, the lower self, and in approaching the higher self must be put aside before we can enter into its presence. Namaste.